I am here with Dre Person. Say hello to the audience.
Hello, Dre Person. What's going on?
And um and we just want to know where you're from, how old are you? Just introduce yourself to the audience.
Well, like I said, Dre Person. Originally from East Orange, New Jersey. Migrated down to Richmond, Virginia. Dre Person, rapper from East Orange, New Jersey. Migrated down to Richmond, Virginia. Currently a rapper MC, striving to be, the greatest rapper of all time. Sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, I'm an activist, for the Black culture.
Mm.
And yeah, man, I'm just a young nigga out here trying to figure it out, nothing
Yeah.
special.
And how long did you live out in New Jersey? Like, was it just throughout your as a little kid, or did you live out there till you became like a teenager or something and moved out here?
Um, I think you want to know how old I was too. My bad, I forgot to say
Okay.
I was 21. But I moved out from Jersey, I want to say around the age of 12, 13. So I would say I spent like 12, 13 years in Jersey, and about 7 or 8, yeah, around that number in Virginia.
Wow. So I know it's got to be a difference between Jersey and Virginia. Like, what is
Oh
just your
yeah, for
perspective
sure.
of just like how different is it? Because I've never been to New Jersey. So I just want to know how
Um,
different is it compared to Virginia?
well, Virginia is like, the South, capital of the South, basically, in a
Mm-hmm.
way. Um, and Jersey is, the little brother to New York. So it's basically, just basically the exact same difference between the city and the country. Like there are sidewalks up north, there are in Virginia, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. More city centric, very faster paced. You know, different language, of course, almost like a different language. Just regular. You know what I mean? It's not nothing
Mm-hmm.
like nothing crazy. It's just like it's up north. It's home for me. I would say the biggest difference for me, honestly, is the food. I feel like the food in Jersey, it's a little better.
Mm-hmm.
But the food here is cool though. You know what I'm saying? Another thing, I
Mm-hmm.
would say I would say Southern hospitality is definitely a thing. I think I've met a lot of good people down here in
Facts, though. Facts.
Jersey.
Southern hospitality is definitely a big thing down here.
Yeah.
Um, compared to going out west and up north. I know up
Right.
in New York, when I went up there to visit, it was like people, they don't care if you're a visitor or not. They're just gonna be mind their own business, compared to
Yeah.
out here. If we notice that you're a visitor, we're gonna be like, "Hey, how you doing? Are you gonna say hello? Shake my
Right.
hand." I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" But
Yeah.
let's get
Southern
into this in a
hospitality is definitely a thing.
yes. But I just want to know, at what age did you start to take music seriously?
When I started to take it seriously, I want to say the day I started, honestly. Well, the whole reason I started rapping, was to get girls. You know what I mean? Not for real. Like in middle school, I had a group of friends, and we used to hang out all the time. We would, and I guess one day, one of them just suggested that we rap.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never rapped before. This is in the sixth grade, which is the same year I left Jersey to go to Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, I had never rapped before, but all of those guys were, those guys were popular, and I was well known as well. So it was like, I wanted to increase my popularity by rapping.
Mm-hmm.
So I started writing one night, and at first it was just a joke. Then I was like saying the rap to other people, and everybody said, "Oh, that was good," and boosting my head a little.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I wrote another one, and then I just kept writing and writing and writing, and then I guess like honestly, once I started to see people's reactions, and once I started to realize just how good I was becoming, just like by being repetitious and stuff like that of writing and things along those lines. That I guess that's really when I took it serious. This when I started to develop in it.
Man, like,
Yeah.
yo, I mean, I just love hearing everybody's story on how they get into writing music. Because, say, like with you, it's like you pretty much took it serious off the bat. And then you have some people, they were just like goofing around and then it
Yeah.
became, you know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
with that being said, like, what artists inspired you and like continue to inspire you to this day?
Oh, sorry. I would say as a kid, the rappers that inspired me first and foremost was Lil Wayne. Bow Wow when I was a kid was my first introduction into rap, but in terms of like serious rappers and like guys who are like in their primes and stuff like that,
Mm,
Wayne had just dropped the Carter 3 and he was all over the radio like Lollipop or Millie, Got Money, Mrs. Officer, you know, he had like hit after hit. And that was when Wayne became my favorite rapper.
mm,
And then I got schooled by my uncle, about understanding the history of hip hop, you know what I mean? And understanding the roots of it and having a more diverse um mindset when it came to music. So then he introduced me to a bunch of old school rappers like APMD and Eric B and Rakim and guys like
yes.
that. And that ultimately has shifted my whole direction. And then uh, ultimately, I would say overall, the main folks who inspired me throughout my long uh, research of hip hop. First and foremost, I would say Tupac Shakur.
Yes.
He's inspired me because I've been you know, I've been outspoken and have usually said things that I felt like, were gonna cause me to lose a couple friends or whatever the case may be. And, he was kind of that guy that reassured me that, just be yourself and, say what you gotta say, get it off your chest, whatever the case may be. So he kind of helped me really want to be myself when it came to rapping, like not just, being somebody else to please other people or to please
Mm,
the masses, just to, be myself. Him and I would say him, Kendrick Lamar, big inspiration for me. There's a bunch of other guys, but I would say like right now who inspires me today the most, I would probably say is like unfortunately he passed away, but it would have been XXX Tentacion. Yeah,
yes.
yeah, he was like
Yo.
a real big inspiration for me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So especially dealing with depression and uh, yeah. So he basically his music had very much been like therapy to me. You know what I mean? So stuff like that has inspired me to make music that touches people the same way his music touched me and those other guys. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And with that being said, like I noticed like you kind of have like a style of activism in your music. And
Mm.
aside from the music, just activism in real life, I want to touch on what was it like being out there in Richmond, Virginia during these marches? Just like what was the experience like?
Oh, it was fun. For me, it was very fun. Um, throughout the entire experience, I was of the mindset that something possibly could have went down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, whether it be from police or rioters or the National Guard or whatever the case may be. I knew going out there, was gonna put me in harm's way, especially since my group wasn't too far away from the group that got tear gassed by the National Guard.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
yeah, but we had seen them. They stopped by where we were at, and they left us alone. But being out there for me, it was like it. For me, it was amazing because I got to be on the front lines. You know what I mean? And I got
Right.
to really experience it. I was really, really there, and being there in the mix of it all was like really inspiring, and it really you know it kept me on my toes, and it reminded me just how real it is out here. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
it definitely inspired me to keep going and go beyond just protesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, and then on top of that, like I just want to know like what is your perspective on just like the entire George Floyd situation as well as the many
Hmm.
others that passed away before him and after him, a lot of black people that suffered from police
Hmm.
brutality.
Uh, my opinion on that is, of course, that is George Floyd's death is, of course, unfortunate, and the losing of lives through police brutality is always sad and unfortunate. I believe that this this is like sometimes it's seen as a radical idea, but I honestly believe that when you try to force two types of people who don't exactly coexist throughout history, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
we've like the facts are there. We just don't coexist, you know what I mean?
Right.
And no matter how much the majority tries to, seem like it's not racist or that, things are fair and whatnot, we still see these things happen every day. They
Mm-hmm.
happen more often than not because not everything is recorded. You know what I mean? And during the civil rights era where they didn't have cell phones and stuff like that to have this stuff recorded, we have no protective system in place like a Black Panther Party or something larger to police our own and protect our own.
Exactly.
I think honestly the best thing that can work for for America, in order for America to not either run into a civil war part two or just the brink of destruction, is honestly like not segregate but separate,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like, I don't know exactly 100% how to go about that, but as of right now, that's how I feel in the long run. You know what I'm saying? Right
Right.
now, we need to. I believe that George Floyd's situation should let everybody know that nobody is safe. You know what I mean? Nobody is exempt from these conditions. There are people who are dying who aren't even killed on the streets. Some of them are, being killed in their homes. Like Breonna Taylor was asleep when she died. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
I forget the young lady's name who was playing a video game with her nephew and got shot through the window. You know what I mean? Like they're not like they're coming in people's homes and doing stuff like this. So you're not safe anywhere. I think it's sad to say this, but I feel like George Floyd's death, hopefully what I hope comes out of it is a surge of self-dependence on our own. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And working within ourselves and doing what we have to do amongst ourselves, because the more we depend on, other people's police officers and other people's judges and other people's businessmen and other people's, you know, stakes in the world, we'll never get what we want because we're asking people who aren't us to give it to us. You know what I
Right.
mean? So only we can understand fully what we want and need. So I believe, separation, because it's if they really wanted us to be together, stuff like this wouldn't happen. You know what I mean? If
Exactly.
that was like it's just no contest. Like it would not happen. This is clearly an act. These are clearly acts of hate. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Clearly acts of hate. No way around it. So I feel like it's sad, it's unfortunate, and we should definitely learn from it and understand that we're on the brink of war, and it's sad to say, and it's a scary thing for people to say because war typically scares folks, but it's just reality.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing to do but just get prepared for it at this point, you
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
absolutely,
Like,
absolutely.
I just finished looking at Tariq Light, his radio show, and I know he
Hmm.
was telling everybody like people like all across this country needs to get prepared for July 4th because they're already talking about a lot of stuff is about to happen now, you know.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know if you heard about the fireworks and all that type of stuff going off in certain cities as well to like,
yeah,
cause people to have like was it sleep deprivation and then they end up getting upset and wanting to riot and all that type of stuff just to make people upset, from
yeah,
losing out on sleep. So all this stuff is deeply planned, which is crazy,
absolutely,
you know what I'm saying?
absolutely. It's all an agenda. That's why when people say we should make when people speak of making organizations that correlate with the police and stuff like that.
Mhm.
That stuff's not going to work because
Mm-mm.
you're asking to be free from a system where the person doing it is also the one that can free you. So it's like he's not gonna release you from a vice grip if you being in that vice grip benefits him. You understand what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like Like you can't ask somebody to stop doing something to you that they've been doing for years and years and years and years. And we've been begging, we've been asking, like this isn't new. These protests, these riots, this stuff like this isn't new. You go
Mm-mm.
back to the civil rights era and um Reconstruction after Civil War, after the first Civil War, after the only Civil War. It's like there are mad periods where we have been begging to be seen as a human being, not even as an American anymore. It's just as a human. So it's like asking these same people who clearly don't want it to be this way to release you is ridiculous. You have to release yourself. You have
Mm-hmm.
to release yourself, and that's the next step. That's why, like personally, I haven't been out there protesting anymore because it's like it has to evolve past the protest. You know what I mean?
That's
Like
exactly what I was gonna say. I was like, protesting is always like a great first step to like let people know,
mm-hmm,
hey, we're not playing around, but it never gets the job done, if you get what I'm saying. Like, we
never.
gotta get like you said, like the Black Panther Party, they were like
Mm-hmm,
a, police, they were like our police officers for the Black community. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And then you have Black people that started getting involved in Congress and started taking up those positions to get
right.
stuff ruled for us. And it's like when you look at Congress, not a lot of Black people are in there anymore.
Mm-mm,
Why
at
do you think a
all.
lot of our rights are gone? So it's like you said, like protesting is like the first step, but we cannot just depend on protesting. That's just like a warning sign. But we got to start boycotting,
Absolutely. Funny thing about
community
Congress,
policing, all that type of stuff.
mhm. Hell yeah, it's all about being self-dependent
Hmm.
on ourselves and our people. The funny thing about Congress is that you know how the president only can have up to like 4 to 8 years in office, right?
Hmm.
Judges and people in Congress and Electoral College, they get elected and they're in there for like 10 years. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They're in there for mad long, and those like people tend to think the president is the big election. Like we're like to me, Trump's election came and gone. And even though he of course did what he did throughout his 4 year time, um it hasn't nothing it for the most part, it wasn't nothing radical. You know what I
Right.
mean? So except for really in 2020, the election year is the year where things started going crazy. But coincidence and selection year, that's when
Mm.
everything starts going crazy. You know what I
Every
mean?
single
Which is
four
funny.
years.
Yep,
Hmm.
every 4 years, the world finds itself in a crisis when we have to declare who's going to be the next commander in chief. But regardless, uh, candidates and I'm not candidates, politicians that represent Congress, the Electoral College, judges in the Supreme Court, judges in courts in general, they're all in there for like mad long. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like mad long.
Like they're the
And
ones really making the decisions, if
yes,
you want to be real.
absolutely, absolutely. The president has little control over a lot of legislation. Like a lot of that has to go through mad different branches of government. You know what I mean? Like they taught us about the three branches and they never taught us about how many people are in the three branches. Like how
Hmm.
many House of Representatives are in one building. It'd be like 50 to 100. So you
That's a
telling
lot of
me we have
people.
to we got to run an idea through all of these people, and then like it's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? Those are the folks, and they're all, like you said, elderly white folk who have the same mentality now that they've had. Because Martin Luther King and them, that was like what 40, 50 years. That's not that long ago. You
No.
know what I mean? Those people who lived through that are still here. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And they're and where are they? They're in the chairs where all the real changes, where all the real changes happen.
Hmm.
So got to get those guys up out of there.
Exactly. Like I said, I just feel like we need just new people in those
Absolutely.
positions, like, and not just any Black person, because I hate it when you have Black people that just vote for a Black person because they're Black.
Hmm.
Like, I feel like we need people in those positions that are already out there helping out the community, and we
That's low
vote those
key.
people in.
Absolutely. That's what I think happened with Stoney. With
Hmm.
LeVar Stoney, everybody rushed to vote for him because he was black. And it's like don't get me wrong, I love to see a black person in power, but at the same time, he gotta be one of us. And
Right.
as people saw when that stuff went down, the first person they all ran to blame was Stoney. You know what I mean? And it was like
Hmm.
I didn't think he deserved all the blame, but if you want to give him the blame, I'm not gonna stop anyone. So it's like,
Exactly.
but he's black, and then and he could have easily played a role into some of the things that transpired into them not happening, and that
Mhm.
didn't happen. You know what I mean? He went about his business. So, um, things like that. It's just always you have to know your enemy. You know what I mean? You have to know your enemy. If you don't know who you're dealing with, you put yourself in a position to not succeed against him. You know what I mean? Because he knows the game and you don't.
Mhm.
So stuff like that. That's just a part of the game.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're so right on all that, like you said, it's a lot that we have got to get done. This is only the beginning. Um,
Yeah,
but
it's been a 400, 500 year crisis. We definitely can't get over it in one. You know what I mean?
mm-mm,
Like,
it's gonna take
so
just as long to like get everything
it needs foundation. The number
exactly.
one thing it needs is a foundation. Right now, we don't have any foundation. All our foundations are in other cultures and other races expense. You know what I mean? Like we depend on so many other banks. We depend on white banks. We depend on foreign banks. We depend on foreign and non-black hospitals. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Non-black you know nothing in the schools. You know what I mean? Everything is not made for us, and it's not made for us on purpose. And the fact that we keep trying to ask somebody to make something for us as if we can't make it ourselves is ridiculous.
Exactly. Like we have all the resources to do it. We just
Hmm.
need to all pull together at this point.
We got some of the richest of the rich with these rappers and athletes, and they act as if they can't detach themselves from whatever corporation they're assigned to do something for their people, which is ridiculous because how many we've seen that happen with so many other white men who have worked for big corporations and said, you know what, I think I could do this myself, and then went on and did it themselves, and put their friends on, and it kills me that so many entertainers and athletes, don't do that. Like if you're just starting off and you say, okay, I want to play their game until I reach a certain status to where I'm making money. The way this is what I feel Jay-Z did. You know what I mean? He leveled himself up to a boss to where when it was time for him to make social change, he can do it because he got the money and the power now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like if you're just playing a role to get to that position, that's one thing. But you can always tell who's the ones doing that and who's the ones who aren't. Because even though Jay-Z, wasn't a super activist coming up, he was doing things along the way that justified, him being a part of our culture. You need
Mhm.
more people like that. You need more people
Definitely.
like that.
Because the only people
Start
we
their own
got
thing.
is just Jay-Z and J. Cole, like in the forefront of what we can see at least, that's
Mm,
genuinely out here.
right.
But
Yeah, it's
with that
crazy.
being said though, like I just want to know, like, is there any like encouraging message that you would leave to any up and coming entertainers, activists, anybody?
Okay, so I'll answer entertainers first, because they're different.
Hmm.
For entertainers, I would say my best advice I could give to you is one, always trust your judgment, but don't be closed off to advice. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like don't take advice from everybody, but make sure the ones who do take advice know that you do take advice from know what they're talking about. Everybody doesn't see your vision, and that's the reason why it's your vision. So trust your gut. However, don't be so bullheaded that you don't take advice or opinions from people that know what they're talking about. If they don't know what they're talking about, you always just have a feeling of somebody who don't know what they're talking about, and you
Right.
always have a feeling of who you can trust with something like that. So never never compromise your gut, but also be open to suggestions. That and practice makes perfect. Work on your craft as often as you can, as often as you can, even if it's just listening to beats, even if or whatever it is that you're doing. Just continuously work on your craft. Learning the history of it, is also an important thing. Always know the history of what you're doing because the more information and knowledge you have, the more weapons you have in your toolkit. You know what I mean? Like in your arsenal, the more weapons in your arsenal.
Hmm.
Um, to activists, I would say understand that being an activist makes you a target as well. And if you're not willing to die about it, don't put yourself in that position. Because you know you can amass a large crowd of people that believe in you and follow you, and you're not ready for the heat that comes with it, and you could be a part of the blind leading the blind.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you know, if unless you're ready to risk your life or something along those lines, I would say don't. Or if you're not going to at least be really serious about it, don't be involved. And there's nothing wrong with not being the ringleader of a movement. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's like a ringleader is nothing without supporters. You know what I mean? So there are valuable roles to be a part of in war. Like war is fought on multiple fronts. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody doesn't have to be at the same location of the battle. You can be in different positions in different spots to add usefulness and efficiency to a cause. And you know, a lot of people feel like they got to be the leader or they have to have a lot of control over what's going on, which is unnecessary. You know, there are times where you know it's okay to be a follower, and there are times when it's okay to be a leader, especially when it comes to activism. Because at the end of the day, we're all aiming for the same goal, or we should all be aiming for the same goal.
Facts, man. Facts.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
and with that being said, I want to thank you for coming on the show. But before you
Absolutely.
go, tell everybody to follow you on social media on different platforms. And also, do you have any new music coming out soon?
Okay, so follow me on Instagram, Dre, Drex, the letter X, person, Person. Uh, YouTube me at Dre Person, Dre space Person. Twitter at Dre underscore person. No, I think it's one underscore. Yeah, one underscore Dre underscore person. All my music is available. Ooh, excuse me. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all my music is available at on all streaming services. You know, Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, whatever you like, YouTube, whatever you like, it's on there. Uh, Go stream my newest project, Prince of the Abyss, out now. Best tape of the year. You know what I'm saying? Or at least a candidate for it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Put
That
in a
song
lot of
Eyes
work.
is dope.
Thank you. I'm glad. It's funny. I made Eyes, and I really didn't think people was gonna like it. Like I always have one song on my project where I made it just for my enjoyment,
Mm-hmm.
and that, and it ended up, working out. A lot of people liked it more so than not. So thank you. I appreciate that. I
Yeah, I
really,
love
really
that
do
song.
appreciate that. Yeah, I think that project is really good. I think it's really, really good. So check it out. Check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what else? What else? Um, yeah, and I'm always working. I'm always working on new music. Of course, I have new music coming out soon, new videos. I feel like this is my MVP year. I've been dropping some really good videos, been dropping
Mm-hmm.
some really good content, some really hot verses. So I feel like, I'm going. I'm never gonna stop. You know what I mean? I'm setting out to be the best rapper of all time, and I'm out to prove that. You know what I mean? So we going crazy, man. All 2020 MVP year. Fuck is niggas talking about?
Keep on grinding out here.
Thank
Yo.
you. I appreciate the opportunity. I definitely want to do this again and under better circumstances and everything.
Yes, like please hopefully next time we can do it in person, since we
Right,
only
for
live like what
sure.
30 minutes away from each other. So that'll be
Probably
fun.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, yeah. I'm definitely down. I love doing interviews, and I love when my interviews have questions that aren't, super basic. You know what I mean? I
Right. I
appreciate
was
that.
like, I was hoping they weren't too basic. I was like, I
Yeah.
want to
Nah, you was
do a little
good.
bit of an introduction interview, but I did want to touch on a little bit of the activism as well,
Right. I
with
appreciate that.
everything that's going on right now. So,
Facts. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
yo, no problem. And I'll definitely have you on again. So,
Thank you.
peace, man.
Absolutely. Stay safe. Stay black.
All right, same.
Later.
All right.
Thank you.